Hi, my name is Dan, and if you're like me, chickens, the hardest part about having chickens is keeping them watered during the winter. You can get yourself a heated waterer over at the Tractor Supply, but unfortunately the chickens like to just use more of a toilet than anything else. It makes it very difficult to keep your coop clean. I did see somebody on Pinterest made a heated chicken waterer using a smaller cooler and a smaller heater actually. And I like the idea so much that I've adapted his idea and made it a little bit bigger for our the amount of chickens we have. I was up in the attic. I had been looking for something to do this project, and when we were getting rid of stuff, we were going to get rid of this igloo cooler here, and I noticed that it had exactly what I needed. That the spigot was screwed in, and that's exactly what I want because it makes this whole job a lot easier. I've already cut everything to size here. I'll go over everything that we've used. Obviously I haven't glued it yet because I wanted to videotape this and show folks how we're going to do this. The cover for this is actually elsewhere at the moment. I didn't want to have it on here flopping all over the place. But there is a cover to it as well. So let me take this out. Like I said, I had already unscrewed it, so it's coming up pretty easily. It's going to leave us with a nice hole here. Pretty solid. Now, you're not really going to use much off of this spigot. You're going to use the rubber grommet, and then there's a backer. Those two things you're going to use. The other stuff you can put off to the side. Most of the stuff that I got here, I got at Home Depot. This is just 1/2-inch pipe insulation. It's like maybe $2 or $3 for a package of 4 of them, so I've got more than I'll ever need. This is just 1/2-inch pipe. I actually had 1/2-inch pipe laying around. I needed to buy a T-fitting, a couple of male 1/2-inch, and the other side is just for regular PVC. 2 of those, 2 end caps, a double female adapter for those 2 fittings here, a couple of small lengths of the 1/2-inch pipe, and I was going to use another 90 here because there was an angle. Dropping things here. There was an angle that I was concerned about on this side. I wanted it to be correct, but it turns out I really don't need it. I am going to use one on the inside for the water level, and I'll explain that in a moment. So, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mention these. These are just chicken, they're like dribblers. If you have chickens, you're probably familiar with these. I got these at Tractor Supply. They're gravity fed, they have to go up and down, and the chickens just kind of bob at them, and the water comes out naturally, gravity fed. Theoretically, it really shouldn't leave a mess on the floor, but that remains to be seen. Once we get this in working order, we'll see how I like this. But yeah, about $4.99 over at Tractor Supply. I think most of the stuff I bought here, minus the 1/2-inch pipe, cost me I think $6. So we're going to take one of these here and put the rubber grommet on there. Have to drop it a couple times. There it is. Okay, we're going to take the double female, pop that through. Now the backer here, I'm going to put on this side. I'm going to screw this on. Now, it's not going to take a whole lot of effort to make this tight. You don't want to squash it so much that it's leaking around the grommet. That should be tight enough. When you do yours, you'll mess with it. I mean, if this leaks, I'm going to mess with it, and if I have to silicone it, I will. But at the moment, I think that'll be fine. So on the inside, put a small piece of pipe. Okay, pop that in there, and this is what I'm going to use the elbow for. I was either going to put it straight up like this, or just over like that. And the reason I'm doing that is what we're going to do is get a pond or bird bath heater on Amazon. The one I'm choosing is 80 watts. It has like a 4-foot cord. It's going to sit in the bottom here. It's suitable for plastic or metal. And the thing is I don't want to leave that heater without water on it. So I'm creating a water level in here. There's always a water level, so it's never out of the water. Once I get that heater in the mail, I'm going to notch a little notch here for the cord to go out, so when the cover closes, it'll close tightly. Now, back to the side. We're going to put the other male side on here. I'm very likely going to use Teflon tape here to keep this from leaking. Pop that on there. I'm just putting it on, like I said, I'm not gluing any of this during the video. I'm just putting this all together so you can see how it's done. There's another small piece here. I did not measure these. I kind of just put them together and figured out where I kind of wanted them. I suppose it's probably about 2 inches or so. Now the T-fitting is going to go on right here. That. Okay. Now I already drilled these holes in this. I did measure these out. So basically it comes just in front of these wheels here. Okay, now the thing with these holes is you want to make sure they're in line. So when you drill them, make sure you put a line and you put them exactly where you want. If they're not directly down, they may leak. So you want to make sure that they're directly up and down. Okay. This is a 3/8 drill hole. Once you put a 3/8 drill hole in there, these should screw in pretty nicely. I am not going to screw them in all the way. I'm just putting them on enough for you to get the idea of how this all works. You can also, I've dealt with similar products before. It does have a grommet here, but I find that putting some Teflon tape on those threads really helps it not leak. Because I had an issue with they're like little bowl waterers that are very similar, and I had to do that so they wouldn't leak. I don't like wet messes in the chicken coop. The chickens make enough of a mess. Alright, so we're going to just pop these on a little bit, not all the way, just for the sake of the video. Alright. So, you should be getting the idea now. The cap's going to go on each end. Yeah. Now, I've already cut most of this. So, there's a little space here on this one. I'm not going to end up cutting a small piece of foam just to cover that up because I want this all covered with foam. The other pieces are going to fit just nicely here. It's going to go on there. And then these are going to go right over on this side. And the other. Like I say, these are pipe insulation, Home Depot. They're actually pre-split, so it makes it a little bit easier. Dealing with a razor knife and foam, sometimes it's not a good combo. So I'll probably cut a bit more of this. I'm using the wrong one here. There we go. The next thing I'm going to do, which I did not get any yet because I didn't realize there might be a little gap here. I'm going to head over to the Home Depot probably the next day or so. I'm going to get myself some fancy looking duct tape. Some of it has checkerboards on it or designs on it or whatever, and I'm going to duct tape this shut. Put a little bit on the end here and duct tape this shut. As you can see, once you put a little pressure on, it'll close these in nicely. But I'm not going to do that until after we make sure that these are not leaking. Of course, I'm not going to do that until after I put this on a flat surface and made sure that those dribblers are straight up and down. So that's the gist. The other thing I'm going to look into is that this cover is not insulated. The igloo is insulated, but the cover is just air filled. So I want to see how this 80 watt do in the cold up here in New England. If it freezes on the top or it doesn't do the job I expect it to, I may buy some of that. It's like a styrofoam insulation. It's really hard and thick. I may do that and then just glue it to the top and pop it on there. I suspect these things are made for bird baths and small ponds to keep them ice-free during the winter time. I can't imagine that it wouldn't do a perfect job inside an insulated area. So we're going to see how that goes. I will be posting another video a little further down the line, maybe after the winter has gone by, just to give you an idea on how this actually worked. It's not real cold around here quite yet. It's unseasonably warm. It's in the 40s. So I don't suspect to get a bad freeze real soon. But obviously, the real test is going to be when it is quite cold. So look forward to seeing you guys again. I'll let you know how it works out.